What is a verb? A verb is a word that shows an action or state of being. And what we're going to do is clarify the difference between the three types of verbs, because we've talked about verbs more in the context of verb phrases. And so we have to know what a verb is, what they look like, and how they're used. So we've got three different kinds. The first one is an action verb. I think those are the easiest to recognize because they are verbs that express an action that's physical or mental. It's something that you can see or something that you can do. We could get into tenses. We really focus on present, past, and future tenses, things that are happening now, things that happened in the past or that could happen, but they're all actions. Another type of verb is a linking verb, a verb that links a word in the predicate back to the subject. And we've talked about predicate adjectives and predicate nouns. The new kind of verb that we've been talking about, though, is the helping verbs. And helping verbs are verbs that come in front of another verb. And it could come in front of an action verb, or it could come in front of a linking verb. And we memorized our helping verbs, and we actually memorized our linking verbs as well to make sure that we could recognize them very easily. We can't really do that with action verbs because there's just too many to memorize. But if we can memorize our linking verbs and know what they do and memorize our helping verbs, it's going to be a lot easier for us to recognize them in sentences. So, what you had to do on your test was I gave you the phrase, and you had to decide if it was a verb phrase, a prepositional phrase, or an infinitive. So I'm going to tell you a little strategy that I would use if I were you whenever you're doing anything that asks you to identify parts of a sentence. And that's first to get rid of those extras. There's a reason that we started talking about prepositional phrases first in grammar at the beginning of the year, because once you get rid of them, it makes it a lot easier to break down the rest of the sentence. So we've talked about extras like prepositional phrases, infinitives. We're getting to dependent clauses, appositives. So looking at our first sentence, and on your paper it would be number 2, to learn snowboarding, you must have patience. As I go through these actions and tell you what to do, I want to see when you turn your paper back into me that you've done this. So to learn snowboarding, I see to at the beginning. It could be a preposition, it could be an infinitive, and it's actually an infinitive, to learn. So I'm going to put my brackets around it. That infinitive phrase doesn't go until the end here, to learn snowboarding, and my clue here is that there's a comma. I can also tell that to learn snowboarding is being used as a transition. So once I've gotten rid of the things that I know I don't need, I'm left with a complete sentence. You must have patience. So I want you to get your pencil and label the subject. The sentence is about you. Now I want to figure out, what is you doing? What does it say that you did? You have. And because I know that must is a helping verb, must have is my verb phrase. You must have what? You must have patience. We could go through and determine that that's a direct object, but we're really focused on our verbs here. Also, it will help to take private lessons. So I see a transition here also. I want you to label that as an adverb, ADV. I see an infinitive over here, to take. And I know that infinitive phrase ends all the way over here, to take private lessons. So if I get rid of all those extras, all I have left is it will help. So I'm going to label my subject. What's the sentence talking about? It's talking about it. And what is it doing? It will help. Help is an action verb, and will is the verb that helps it along. Will is on the list of helping verbs we memorized. Can, shall, will. Number 6, you should go to the lodge and take frequent breaks. I see a prepositional phrase here, so I'm going to highlight that and get rid of it. And I don't see anything else, so I'm going to start with my subject. You is the subject. You what? You go. And I've got a helping verb in front of it. Should go. Could, should, would are my helping verbs. You should go. So that's a verb, and that's my verb phrase. To the spectators, the game was taking too long to watch. So I've got a prepositional phrase, to the spectators. I'm going to highlight that to get rid of it. I also see an infinitive over here, to watch, so I'm going to put my brackets around it. And I'm left with, the game was taking too long. What's the sentence talking about? The game. So there's my subject. What's the game doing? It's taking, and I've got a helping verb in front of it, was taking. So label that as your verb. So now you're going to, at your station, get this handout, and you're going to go sentence by sentence, getting rid of the extras, and then labeling your subject. And then I want you to find the verb, and I want you to, let's underline it. So let's say find and underline the verb or verbs that show what the subject is doing. Okay? All right, and so when you finish that, you're going to turn that in and move on to your next station.